Hey everybody, welcome back to the Passive Income Player channel. And basically, I'm talking about my view on what I saw with Streamers University. And I thought it was actually really good. I thought there was so much info just being like passed on and what it means to be a content creator. What are like the drawbacks, what are the perks, and basically understanding what's the other side of it. Like, I really enjoyed seeing how the streamers were talking about this is the money you can make, here's how you go about making it, here's what content is, here's how you earn from it, here are some ways you can fix it, improve it. One of the professors was talking about packaging and knowing what a good thumbnail is and a good title, how to come up with a good thumbnail and title. Someone was criticizing AI thumbnails, and I was like, I don't think there's anything wrong with an AI image because most images and thumbnails are kind of like the same pixels. And I just really found it interesting how like there's such a huge span from streaming to what your like kind of area of expertise to just also the level of growth going from millions of subscribers to hundreds of thousands to like maybe even tens of thousands, and also just the pay ranges. Like being a successful content creator is making 50K plus from content. And that's crazy when you think about it because I see so many young kids just thinking they can hop into streaming or content creation and it'll be super easy. And I don't think they're really taking into account like how long or how much effort it can take until you're famous, and even just the complexities of that. Just because you get a large chunk of views does not necessarily mean you'll make a lot of money. Once you get fame, you also have to figure out how to monetize it. One of the professors on Streamer University was talking about how they wanted to go from viewer-based revenue to a more steady business model like advertisers, sponsorships, and other ways of making money from the platform, and just which is also the best or most reliable way to get paid. And one of the things that the streamers and university were going over is platform diversification. Twitch pays more for streamers, but YouTube is easier to blow up on and get discovered. And it makes you think like the value or the worth of like what are people watching, like what really grows, what really scales. Is it your click-through rate, your cent per milli, what really scales? Other platforms like TikTok, how does someone monetize themselves on there? How, what other platforms are there like Instagram? How many users are on there? How many eyeballs can actually see your content? And it's really important to think that, like, that helps formulate the strategy on how you can be a successful, like, content creator if that's your desire. Me, personally, I focus on being an asset creator. I always believe in creating assets that pay you and also figuring out what is your goal asset. Do you like dealing with people? Do you like managing people, numbers, spreadsheet, computers? What is your specialty? What are your skills? And also, how are you meeting that consistently? And what is your ideal asset? Speaking of your ideal asset, I was watching the new King of the Hill that has just recently come out, and basically, one of the things in the episode was that Peggy and Boomhauer and Dale and everybody are stumped by this new electric truck. And it got me thinking on more than just the Cybercab being about passive income. One of the things Elon Musk is also working on, if you don't know, or has already got in production, is the supercharger. People buying their own superchargers and basically like becoming their own electric gas stations, which I think is really cool. If people become their own electric gas stations, that leaves so much room for asset growth. And I believe Tesla handles all the maintenance, and people just come to your charger, and like a gas station, people just come to the charger to charge. And I see that as a huge value proposition. And basically, the whole episode of King of the Hill was just them talking about the features of electric cars and electric trucks. The car steering on its own, parking on its own security system. And I think the electric cars or the charging station may soon become a really good passive income stream, especially given that most passive income streams really require a decent chunk of work or upfront or capital, but the superchargers and the cybercabs don't really require a whole lot of effort apart from just money and patience, because you don't need, even with being a content creator, you need to have an amazing editor, a great topic, a community platform, you know, and like discoverability. But if you run like an electric gas station, you don't really need to worry about being discovered. People will just Google you and figure out, like, oh, wow. So I think that's something to become really new and like an interesting asset. Like how people can now get into business is just 10 times easier than ever. I don't know why I see so many people complaining about AI, especially when you can use it as a great thinking partner and it can just help you like rethink your ideas and formulate, is that the best way to think about this? Do I have a decent strategy in mind? One of the things that I see really destroy people in their business, in their professional career, is not having a plan for if something happens, if a project goes down or a server goes down or God forbid a layoff, just like what they were talking about in Streamers University. What is your plan? What is your strategy for this? Is it just to get really famous? Fame can come at a hefty price. Is it to make a lot of money? And that's the idea behind any asset. What are you looking to really gain with this asset beyond just monetary value? Because you can get monetary value from a good chunk of things, but you can also get a headache from dealing in the wrong decisions. And something else I really saw interesting during the episode of King of the Hill is just talking about like how people were perceiving the Teslas and the electric cars. They had asked Dale why, because eventually in the episode they find out that it's Dale's electric truck, and they were like, why didn't you park it in your driveway? Why, we thought it was someone else's. And he was saying how I don't want it to get like damaged or ask for trouble or basically get have anything happen to it or my property. And they were talking about something like that in Streamers University, how fame can be a poison to you and to those around you because it can make people envious of you. Just as what he like one of the professors was talking about in Streamers University, more people because someone just got in there, more people know about that person's face and name, but aren't really too sure if they like that person or if they just have some sort of petty jealousy against that person. And that's something people really don't think about, but I see some entrepreneurs think about every now and then again. They are sometimes I catch entrepreneurs thinking, how is this going to cause problems for me? What kind of attention will this track? Will this attract? And it's interesting to see how and what people are thinking of that now. Like how many people are holding in their art, their talents, because they have a fear that if they expose how great or how talented they are, something will happen to them. And the crazy part is that's not even crazy. That's just really, what would you call it? Like mental self-defense? Or like a blocker? I don't know, but what I mean is that's not a crazy fear. It's very real. But one of the things I always encourage people to is if that's your fear, what is your fear if you don't do it? If you let everybody scare you out of making your dreams come true, making your art, where does that leave you? And is that something you're comfortable with? If it is, then I guess that's on you, and you can't really blame anybody for how the world turns out. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. Just like what they were talking about in Streamers University, one of the main, most important things is consistency and authenticity. Authenticity. How consistently are you uploading, and how authentic do people feel you are? What value are you giving to people? Are you giving them relationship value, business value, fitness value, life value, job information? What are you giving to people? What are you expecting to get out? That's one of the most important things to understand when you're trying to evaluate or get any asset. If you want to hear more, check out more videos on the Passive Income Player channel. And I'll see you guys next time.